Ready? Oh. Okay, now we're ready. All right, welcome back from lunch. We'll start with item 5.2. Supervisor Sabatier.
Thank you very much. And so the reason I pulled this item is because I do not approve of the way that we're adding this. I do approve of adding the holiday, but I, again, just like last time, feel that we are adding, this is almost a $300,000 addition of taxpayers' money of a day off. And I would have liked for us to go through the MOU process, negotiations for days that are not holidays that are currently on there. And so this is not about the holiday we're adding. This is about the process on how to get it on there. And so just wanted to make sure that my vote was taken appropriately rather than just going through consent like the rest.
Okay, any other supervisors? Public input? I'm not seeing any in the chambers. And nothing in Zoom. All right, so we'll bring it back to the board for action.
A lot of actions in there. Can it be a through J, or do we need to do them individually?
Individually would be preferred.
All right. Well, it wasn't broken down that way, but I think I would start off by moving to approve revisions of Personnel Rule 1801 holidays, adding Juneteenth as a county paid holiday.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Opposed? Okay,
I think I heard an A. Okay.
next.
Move to approve a side letter to Lake County Correctional Officers Association, October 21, 2021 through June 30, 2025 MOU.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Move to approve a side letter to Lake County Deputy District Attorneys Association, October 21, 2021 through June 30, 2025 MOU.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Losing my thing. Move to approve a side letter to Lake County Deputy Sheriff's Association, October 21, 2021 through June 30, 2025 MOU.
All in favor? Oh, sorry.
Second. I apologize.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right. Move to approve a side letter to Lake County Employees Association Units 3, 4, 5, October 21, 2021 through June 30, 2025 MOU.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Move to approve a side letter to Lake County Safety Employees Association, October 21, 2021 through June 30, 2025 MOU.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Move to approve a side letter to Lake County Sheriff's Management Association, November 1, 2021 through June 30, 2025 MOU.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Move to adopt
Offer the rest.
offer the resolution amending resolution number 2021-122 establishing salaries and benefits for employees assigned to the confidential unit, section A, for October 21, 2021 to June 30, 2025.
Okay. Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Nay.
Supervisor Crandall? Supervisor Green?
Aye.
And Supervisor Pyska?
Yes.
Offer the resolution amending resolution 2021-123 establishing salaries and benefits for employees assigned to the confidential unit, section B, for October 21, 2021 to June 30, 2025.
Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Nay.
Supervisor Crandall?
Yes.
Supervisor Green?
Aye.
Supervisor Pyska?
Yes.
Thanks.
Offer the resolution amending resolution number 2021-124, establishing salaries and benefits for management employees for the period from November 1, 2021 to June 30, 2025.
Okay, Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Nay.
Supervisor Crandall?
Aye.
Supervisor Green?
Aye.
And Supervisor Pyska?
Yes. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Pam. Okay, item 7.6, presentation of update on planning services contract between the County of Lake and Lakeco Associates for processing cannabis-related use permit applications. Director Turner.
Thank you. Rhea Turner, Community Development Department. Towards the end of December in 2022, on December 21st, the county entered into an agreement with Lakeco Associates to offer planning services to assist with the processing of our cannabis grants. These services included, but were not limited to, the technical analysis, the environmental analysis for CEQA, and staff reports. Last summer, at the end of July, on July 26th, the board received an update regarding Lakeco's progress so far, and at that time requested another update 6 months from then, which is what we have here before you today. One thing I'd like to add, and I will turn it over to Deputy Planning
Yes.
Director for Lakeco, Byron Turner, in just a moment. And then he'll give his presentation, which will have some new information since the memorandum that they did submit was actually dated in January, and they've been pretty busy since then. And then if there's anything else, we're both available for questions. Additionally, I do have some information from the narrative for our local jurisdiction assistance grant to process the cannabis grants that we're working on upstairs that will be available for you after that, too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Byron Turner with Lakeco Associates. I wanted to update your numbers since that memo that was provided to you was dated in January. At this time, by my count, we have now been assigned 92 cannabis projects from the county. Since then, there have been 4 additional approvals at the Planning Commission. There will be 2 more projects going next week to the Planning Commission. 7 more are in the queue with staff reports ready to go. We're just verifying some information. We've found that an abundance of caution is necessary when these projects have changed so many times over the course of the last few years. As the laws change, projects change, and so we are confirming with applicants this is indeed the canopy, this is indeed the location, these are indeed the license types. We are also reviewing, at the request of the Community Development Department and the Planning Commission, reviewing hydrogeology reports and drought management plans. Our senior geologist, principal geologist, is in the Zoom room, or at least was earlier today. If you have any questions about what we're doing there. With that said, we continue to process applications and reduce the backlog, and we've worked with the county to streamline the permitting process, and we're working directly with applicants to help them create a more complete application. Most of the applications that have been forwarded to Lakeco were not staff report ready. We've had to work with the applicants to update them based on the changes in the rules, the early activation, the farmland protection zone, and the hydrology reports. So that has taken some time to get everybody up to speed, but I believe now we're in a place where we can really exponentially process applications.
If I could just add a little bit to that, there has been considerable effort within our department to update, upgrade, and improve the quality of our staff reports. So our cannabis program manager has been working with Byron to revamp the initial study template that we use to allow for more robust environmental analysis, as well as we've made considerable modifications within our staff report style and formatting to make sure that our information is also robust in there too. That has taken some time. I wasn't sure about the exact place we needed to go when I first got here, so I've taken some time to evaluate that and work with staff. But I think we're getting to a pretty good place now, particularly for cannabis grants, and the stylistic and content-related improvements that we've made will actually carry over into all our non-cannabis documentation as well.
Okay, Supervisor Sabatier?
Can you provide that date again for when the original data was from? You said it was January
January, I believe, 13th.
13th. And then you provided some data on that you had 16 projects that basically were completed. One was continued to a later date, one was denied, and 14 were reviewed. Was that 14 since the last time we met in July, or was that 14 for the entirety of our relationship that we've had since August of 2021?
Well, there's been more than 14 reviewed. There's been, or maybe you mean approved at the Planning Commission?
Well, you use different language for, because I went back to July and grabbed all those numbers, but the numbers that you provided in this memo that are dated from January 13th, are they for the entirety of the entire scope of our work together since August of 2021, or is it since a specific
I believe
date?
that reflects the entirety of, since the 2021, although I should point out that we weren't working on projects when we were hired in 2021.
In August of 2021?
Yeah.
Okay. But you were in the review process at least to
Yeah,
provide some
when LACO
assistance.
started, we started basically staffing in-house in the planning department while there was no planning director in place. And then eventually were assigned to one project and then went from there.
Okay. So I'm just going to give out some numbers of where we were in July. In July, it looked like we had 6 projects that were completed. Here it shows 16 in the memo. Again, please correct me if that's incorrect, but that's what I see in there. Before, there was 37 project review status memos. Now we're at 53. Looks like there's been a whole lot of initial reviews conducted because that number was 77. What exactly does initial review? Is like a pre-application type of thing, or?
It would be past pre-application, but it would be reviewing it for completeness and then advising the county on what items were necessary to complete the project.
Okay, okay. Which is a process that you spoke of that helps expedite the processes and making sure that you don't push something far ahead knowing that you're missing some information. Then I got some information that I requested from staff for the entire year of 2022, because we had a contract for from July 1st to December 31st for 2021 for $400,000. Then we had a contract from January 1st to December 31st for another $400,000. And it looks like here the services cost us about $291,000. I just wanted to make sure that that was made public, and I'll give my opinion, and then I'll give my final statement. For $291,000 for 16 projects to have gone through the entire process over the course of at least, let's say, a year, not since August, in my opinion, seems dismal in the sense that my opinion is when we contract with somebody, we're contracting because the expertise is there to already be efficient and to provide that expertise that maybe we didn't have in-house to be able to maneuver through the processes. And I'll say if it wasn't for my conversation with Director Turner, who tells me that things are really turning around, I don't know how I would feel about the limited numbers that I'm seeing here, and I am going to give Director Turner the benefit of the doubt that things are going to turn around and we're going to see a lot more efficiency and things moving forward. Because I feel like we're always kind of talking about the same large numbers of applications that's within your department, specifically for cannabis. And the purpose was to try to dwindle that down, and I hope we're going to get there, because if all we're doing is staying afloat, then I don't know that that was the end outcome that we were looking for from this contract. So I just wanted to state those numbers, state my opinion, but I am willing to let it continue to ride, and I hope that things will get more efficient, better, and move forward.
Director Turner, did you want to respond?
I just want to say thank you very much. I am encouraged by the progress that we are making. One of the items that was not really enumerated in the LACO memo, but which is pertinent, is when we get our monthly invoices, they're showing the time that they're logging on a multitude of projects. So in any discretionary permit process, be it cannabis or not cannabis, it's rarely a straight linear line. You know, the completeness period, the first 30 days that we're reviewing that project that Supervisor Sabatier mentioned, is actually the essential first step, because first we're taking a look to see if the application is even worth sending out for agency review yet, but we're also taking a look to make sure that it has all the items that are necessary for not only agency review, but then secondarily moving into the environmental analysis. So that completeness step is vital. We can't move forward without it. And it's taking place also not just in LACO, but we're also doing some in-house as well. And that is in order to expedite. So our intention, it was not to just hand over all cannabis to LACO and be like, okay, have at it, guys. You know, it was more of a coordinated effort that needed a little fine tuning when I got here last year. And so we've been working together to do that. Some days are more fun than others. Sometimes we're making some tough growing decisions, but I am encouraged by where we are now. So I appreciate Supervisor Sabatier's confidence in that.
Okay, Supervisor Green.
Yeah, thank you. I'm also mildly encouraged by the progress, only because I know what it was like before this progress was made, having lived through some dealings on the other side of the counter. And Byron, I thank you for the time you spent with me on the phone yesterday. I'm not, again, new kid on the block, so I'm not totally familiar with the total grant amount that came or how far that's going to get us down the road. I guess not necessarily an update from LACO, but maybe an update from you about how much bang for the buck, but more importantly, how many bucks we have left in the grant before we have to come back asking for more money. So how much longer do we have with this money to try to attempt to deal with this backlog? But the backlog is the thing, you know. We haven't been open to truly new applications for several years because of this board's current policy requiring a water board permit as a prerequisite to applying. So my ears did perk up. If we have 14 more cases that have been assigned, I don't know if those are actual new applications, again, for moldy oldie water board permits that are on board, or what's going on. So in addition to the concerns about how quickly can we process this backlog, so I am encouraged we have some system and some improvements that maybe we can finally get there. But when are we going to be ready to open up the new applications? And how are we going to find the money to process those? And so this is an open-ended question. I know this item is not the day we're going to discuss this, but to me it's an open-ended question. It's the question, is whether continuing down this process of all discretionary use permits all the time, even for simple cultivation projects, is the model we want to continue going down, or do we want to explore models that have been used in other counties to varying degrees of success and failure, where we would adopt more of a ministerial permit process for any cultivation operations, deal with any CEQA stuff that go with any buildings or stuff like that, and maybe have to fly a programmatic EIR that would provide overarching environmental review of those ministerial permits. Although I'm not even convinced at this point that DCC is signing off on all those ministerial permits in those counties. So I do want to say I'm encouraged, but I'm also frustrated. You know, this is basically a recitation of a failure to scale this industry appropriately, a failure to, on the one hand, we're dumping more and more on this process. On the other hand, we have a cannabis task force being tasked somehow to streamline this permit process that in and of itself is not built for streamlining. There's a need for speed in processing these permits. I am thankful for LACO, and I'm thankful for the grant funding that has kind of righted the ship on our current process. But it's an open question to me, even with the enhancements, even with the help of LACO, that this is the proper direction moving forward.
I'm going to set aside all the policy-related things, which are rightly left to you all. But the local jurisdiction assistance grant is a 3-year grant for $1.2 million total. I may have missed a couple thousand, but I'm pretty sure it's $1.2 million for a 3-year period, which we have encumbered in an agreement with LACO over the 3-year period for $400,000 per year.
And we're on year 3.
And I'll get a number of texts in a minute if I said something wrong from everybody upstairs. But we're going with that.
Have it open.
Real
Did
quick
you vote on
follow-up.
something? Oh,
I'll wait for him.
Sorry. Never mind.
Supervisor Crandall?
Yes, just wanted to touch on a couple of things. I know I've been, I think you've been to some of my Clear Lake Oaks meetings, and so I wanted to relay some input that's been given to me there, and just highlight that there was concerns with inconsistencies before in different projects, incorrect dates, cutting and pasting, giving the sense to some of the public that there's like a sin of omission. But I know that since Community Development Director Turner has started, there's been a policy in place for 2 planners to review some of those that come forward. So I know that's going to help. And then just in regards to the Cannabis Task Force, since August 1st, there was supposed to be a representative to attend those, and looking through the minutes, none of them state that there was someone there. So I know that some of these things can be corrected, and just want to see, I know that you've put some things in place, and I know we're getting to that point, but I just wanted to highlight some of the concerns from citizens about the LACO item today.
Thank you. One of the internal systems we have put in place is that the staff reports and documents shall receive peer review before they come to me. And then after I'm done with them, they go to county council for review. That has helped a lot, although that is one of the reasons why there's been a slowdown, is because we do not publish public hearing notices setting dates for hearings until after these staff reports are ready to go. So I do anticipate that as we increase in our accuracy and standardize sort of our staff reports a little more, that will hopefully move along a little more smoothly. However, I will frankly let you know that I am doing that final review because I have yet to hire a a principal planner or a deputy director. So it's something that's essential that we do, but I often have my staff sending me reminder emails. Oh, we still have those staff reports that you might want to get to. So we're working on it.
It's burdensome on you, so I get it.
But we're making progress, so it's worth it.
And could I also add for the record that we have had a LACO representative at all of the task force meetings. We were not appointed as a member of the task force, so we're there to advise as necessary and behind the scenes, but we have been present at all the meetings as an observer.
Okay. Just make sure, we'll have to make sure they put it in the minutes for you.
Okay. Oh, Supervisor Sabatier.
I just wanted to make a correction. I was not correct in the numbers. It's January 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2022 for $400,000. And then it's fiscal years from July 1st, 22 to June 30th, 23, $400,000. And then July 23 to June 24, $400,000. And then the last one is July 24 to March 31st, 2025 for $400,000. So it's $1.6 million total, and it ends on March 31st, 2025. That's what was approved.
Thank you. And in addition, there are also excess funds because the grant totals $2.1 million.
Yes.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, I will open it up to the public. I don't see anybody in the chambers, and we have 2 hands up in the Zoom room. We will start with Betsy Kahn. You have 3 minutes, if you'll state your name, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members of the board. Betsy Kahn for the Essential Public Information Center. And my question is regarding the statement that was made by the CDD director about the modifications to the initial studies. And so my question has to do with whether or not that will fall under a revision of Article 64 of the Lake County zoning ordinances. That that to me is extremely important to deal with. And could I ask that question? Is that possible?
Director Turner?
Certainly. If you'll give me one moment to pull up my zoning ordinance. I'm not entirely familiar with Article 64 as what the text is.
You don't have it memorized?
Right? I know, sorry. I've only been back for a while.
Environmental protection guidelines.
Certainly, I think that I don't have to read that. It would be safe to assume that the whole purpose of the revisions that we're doing to the initial study is actually to add additional scrutiny to the items that are within the initial study checklist. So it will, by actually improving the quality of our initial study, I can double check Article 64, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be, it will be consistent with all environmental review regulations.
Okay, thank you. And then we have phone 7257.
Madam Chair, I was just allowed to unmute again. If I may ask, may comment on that answer, please, on Article 64.
Okay, go ahead.
The article does not contain the initial study checklist that needs to be modified. I would like to be sure that the initial study checklist will be reviewed and have public input before it goes to the Planning Commission, because there are a number of things about it that need to be updated. Thank you.
Thank you. I do appreciate the clarification that Betsy just gave, because that makes it easier for me to answer. We use the initial study checklist that is supplied by the state within the CEQA guidelines. So if it were up to public review regarding those items, then it would have been done at the state level.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now phone 7257. State your name.
Thank you.
And you have 3 minutes. Yes, we can hear you.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. This is Bart Levinson. I wanted to thank Supervisor Crandall for his comments. His is not the only town hall that has been requesting information and feeling not represented at the task force meetings. And I would like to ask more directly, the 2 people who were given those seats, they themselves are unaware that they are supposed to represent anyone other than themselves. And I would like to ask for clarity about what representation the town halls and the public of Lake County can have, should have, and is having on the task force. Additionally, because the bottom has dropped out of prices for cannabis, the revenue estimates that were in 2021 at 6 to 8 million have now plunged to as little as
So this
1.5.
agenda item is about the LACO process. So if your comment can be directed to that, and we're not talking about the cannabis task force right now or the market conditions. So we're just simply talking about the report from LACO. So you could keep your comment within those bounds. That'd be great. Thank you.
My comment to LACO, besides that the cannabis is not bringing in money anymore, is I was at every meeting, and we were not advised that LACO was at every meeting and advising all along the way. So there needs to be more transparency, please.
Okay. Okay. I think that's it for public comment. We can bring it back to the board. Supervisor Sabatier?
So I have a final question, and I don't know if that can be answered or not. I don't want to put you on the hot spot, but it would be nice to get something back in return in the near future. But if I'm seeing here that, and I really personally don't care if projects get denied or if they get canceled or if they get approved, but to finish through the process, right now if we're at 16 and we have about 120 applications to still go through, what is a appropriate amount to expect to be done in a single year so that it doesn't take 8 years to accomplish our goal of going through all of these applications? Just kind of curious what your expectations are. And again, you don't have to respond. I'm putting you on the hot seat, but I think it would be nice to set an expectation so that we can say this is going to take 5 years, or it's going to take 3 years, or it's going to take 10 years. But at this rate, it just seems like it's too long, and I know that there may be some efficiencies put in place that change that, but I'd also like to know what the internal expectations are.
I appreciate that. Thank you. That's a good question. And I appreciate the opportunity to go back and give it some thought. Typically, our use permits take up to 6 to 8 months if they're set, ready to go, and don't encounter a lot of hiccups along the way. So I'll take that into consideration along with the staff resources that we have, which we would include LACO in that part since they're our team members on this endeavor. And I would be more than happy to come back and give the board an update. So you would have sort of a more thorough understanding of the speed of what we can expect in this process.
And I don't know how the rest of the board feels. I'd love to get consensus on that rather than direct unilaterally, but I also would love to see another report from LACO, maybe not 6 months. I don't mind 6 months, but definitely don't want to just leave this as is, as I'd like to see this do better. And so looking for the board to see if they agree on both those items that I requested.
Yeah. So I have a question about the applications that LACO is handling that were incomplete and how you're helping with the applicants. What percentage of those are we finding easy? Are you finding easy remedies for, or what are kind of have some really big problems and they're going to still take quite a long time to work out?
Well, there's a certain handful of ones that I'm not sure are going to go anywhere because the conditions of the market were different when they were applied for, and now there's requirements of the hydrology report that people have no intention of moving forward, and we just haven't gotten it off the county's books yet.
How do you have a number-ish?
I'd have to consult with Andrew on that one, but probably 25 or 30. In addition, with the rest of them, the fact is that projects we're getting, they were all applied for in 2019, 20, and 21. As Supervisor Green stated, that we are not getting any new applications. So all of those were applied for in different conditions, different market conditions, and different regulatory conditions. So in a lot of ways, it's as simple as going back and asking for a drought management plan. And if they're able to provide that for us, that's the fix. Others is we just need simply more information to process the CEQA document because we're trying to get more information into there. In a lot of cases, projects were designed to early activate and then come back with building permits once they were activated, generate some income, and then had their project approved. When early activation went away, it changed their whole model. So we'll have projects that are on file still, and we're waiting for them to, you need to change your product description in your timeline in order to come back to what is permissible today. So it kind of runs across those factors.
So the bulk of the projects you have are the more complicated ones, and
At this point, yeah, the easier ones have been
the easier ones have
approved.
been moved through.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you were putting together a timeline, I mean, that's got to be taken into consideration that these have these extra issues and they're not simple projects.
Indeed. Additionally, at the state, there is a a part of their regulations that says if the applicant does not respond to incomplete letters within, I think it's 6 months, 180 days, then their project is just done. It's just withdrawn. We don't have that in our code. However, we have been working on setting aside the ones that are just not moving forward with the intent to take those to Planning Commission for a recommendation of denial without prejudice, which would then enable the applicant, should they desire to pick it up, to do so the very next day if they wanted to, which it would not include that time period like a denial with prejudice. Would keep them from reapplying or any other application coming in on that property. So we do have that group sort of set aside for that purpose. Additionally, from the department, the information is that there are 69 projects actively moving forward. 43 of those are with LACO. Should the board decide, we'd be happy to bring you a report back in another 6 months to see what we've gotten done now that we feel like we're getting kind of all steering in the same direction. Particularly since I just gave you that 69 number. Let's see what we get done with those 69.
So 69 are active, but are they still the very complicated ones?
We didn't get that breakdown, but to me, actively moving forward means that we've got the data that we need in order to proceed with environmental analysis and then on to staff report.
Okay.
Keep in mind the timelines, though, not to be giving you all these disclaimers. However, with initial studies, we do have a required 30-day circulation period for the public and the clearing state house. So there are some timelines where, even though they're actively moving forward, we're all kind of sitting around waiting for these time periods to take place.
Okay. Any other comments from the board? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Byron.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move ahead with 7.7, consideration of the following resolutions to correct benefit language as required by CalPERS. A, resolution amending Resolution 2020-149 and Resolution 2021-122, establishing salary and benefits in confidential unit, Section A, for the periods of October 21, 2020 and to October 20th, 2021, and October 2021, and you did that on purpose, right? All these dates. To June 30th, 2025. And B, resolution amending Resolution 2020-150 and Resolution 2021-123, establishing salary and benefits for confidential unit Section B for the periods of October 21st, 2020 to October 20th, 2021, and October 21st, 2021 to June 30th, 2025. And C, resolution amending Resolution 2020-151 and Resolution 2021-124, establishing salary and benefits for management employees for the periods of November 1st, 2020 to October 31st, 2021, and November 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2025. And D, resolution amending the memorandum of understanding by and between Lake County Sheriff's Management Association and the County of Lake for the periods of November 1st, 2020 to October 31st, 2021, and November 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2025. County Council.
If your board determines to offer these resolutions, I could suggest that if you do so, you may simply offer the resolution in sub A of the staff report, the resolution in sub B, since you've already read them once.
You ruined the fun.
The resolutions that are before you today are the result of a circular letter from CalPERS regarding special compensation. The upshot of it was that special compensation is commonly misreported, and it is one of the factors in determining the amount of employees, at least in Lake County and many other government agencies, their retirement amounts. The information was intended to assist CalPERS public agencies to ensure that special compensation was reported correctly. After that letter, the language in the non-represented employee resolutions and in a number of represented employee documents was changed, and it provided for 5 steps with longevity after the first step. That replaced the county's standard 12-step process. Now, the issue is that because people were hired at an advanced step, they would reach step 5, and that 5-year period at a point sooner than someone who was just going through each and every step. According to CalPERS, that created a disparate class. People were treated differently, and they determined that that could not stand. They found it non-compliant with the Public Employees Retirement Law, the Pension Reform Act of 2013, and Title II. CalPERS determined that as a result, then longevity, which was dependent upon achieving a top step as written, was not reportable to CalPERS, and thus that income would not be considered in an employee's retirement. One employee who was putting in retirement at the time this became known would suffer an $800 a month loss in retirement money. So it's a substantial amount. Also, CalPERS talked about not just people who are retiring or may retire later, but recent and even past retirees going back potentially a number of years. The unfortunate part is this is CalPERS' decision to make. However, the former auditor controller spoke with them endlessly and did achieve a compromise. The compromise is the formula that is here before you. This methodology was selected because it's least disruptive to all employees. It essentially leaves people who were hired prior to October 21, 2020 in the same position as they were. People hired after that would be changed to years of service. And the issues involving longevity and the potential creation of disparate classes resulting from advanced step hirings would then be resolved and prevented. The alternative to this is CalPERS will simply start deducting from everyone's retirement any longevity that they deem to be unemployed. My office with Mr. Torres and HR has met with each of the units represented here. And in fact, they have met with the represented units, and hopefully those resolutions will be coming to you on the 28th of this.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Sabatier?
Just a quick comment. There are many, many changes that the state of California goes through every single year. This was one of them. This was one of them. Can't speak correctly, and truly appreciate the efforts made by the team, especially our prior auditor controller, for helping us clear this up.
Yes, this was high resolution math. I don't think anybody else could have done this, so it was wonderful. She made a commitment to find this compromise with CalPERS before she retired.
Okay, and we'll open it up to public comment. Okay, none in the chambers. And I don't see any in the Zoom room, so we'll bring it back to the board for action or further comment. I don't see any more comments, so.
Madam Chair, I offer the resolution in sub A.
Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall?
Yes.
Supervisor Green?
Aye.
And Supervisor Pyska?
Yes.
Madam Chair, I offer the resolution in sub B.
Okay. Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall?
Yes.
Supervisor Green?
Aye.
And Supervisor Pyska?
Yes.
Madam Chair, I offer the resolution in sub C.
Okay, Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall?
Yes.
Supervisor Green?
Aye.
Supervisor Pyska?
Yes.
And finally, Madam Chair, I offer a resolution in sub D.
And Supervisor Simon?
Yes.
Supervisor Sabatier?
Aye.
Supervisor Crandall?
Yes.
Supervisor Green?
Aye.
And Supervisor Pyska?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anita. Is that,
Calendars.
oh, calendars. Right, go back
About that.
there. Okay. Supervisor Crandall, do you want to start and go down the
Go
road?
first. Yeah, I guess I will. So I'll start with, this last week I left Wednesday, traveled to DC for the RCRC fly-in is what it was called, the legislative fly-in. It also was connected with the NACO conference that I know Supervisor Sabatier is on, but they asked me to go and they gave me a tag for RCRC rather than Lake County, but I still went and talked about Lake County things. So we basically briefed legislators and committees on issues involving rural counties. It was myself, Mary Ann Warmerdam, her and these other policy legislators are from RCRC, Stacy Heaton, Tracy Ryan, and President Pat Blacklock. And we went with the leadership of RCRC. So we were accompanied also by a staff called ACG, and they're basically the people on the ground that know where to go and assist us with navigating the halls. And so we met with Senator Feinstein, her staffer Sean Mullen, where we talked about the Farm Bill, rural title, forestry title, energy title, and expanding rural broadband, along with, let's see, it's called Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and the Inflation Reduction Act. We talked about cannabis banking reform, safe rural schools, and payment in lieu of taxes. We then went to the Senate Agricultural Committee, discussed policy revisions regarding legislation that is updated and considered for the reforms coming up, same rural title, forestry title, energy title. We met with the Forestry Service Chief, Randy Moore. He's actually from California and has a good working relationship with Stacy Heaton. We talked about in IRA, BIL, which is Inflation Reduction Act, and basic infrastructure law, and basically discussed our issues in county. So when Stacy and whoever else was talking about the issues that they were trying to apprise them of, like tree mortality and whack and stack, they call it, which is what they're doing when they're cutting down the trees and leaving them, things like that. We were explaining how it's affecting us. Also talking about the good neighbor policy, which is in regard to, federal lands next to ours and having them work on some of those relationships so they can, not keep us as vulnerable as we are with their lack of doing the work. We also went to Congressman Thompson's office, which, I was like, well, we're going to see him next week. And his assistant rep, Eric Hoffman, they're coming here. They'll be here tomorrow. So we, of course, talked to him about the Farm Bill and Save Rural Schools and payment in lieu of taxes. We then went to the Speaker McCarthy's office as his, we didn't go to his speakers first. We went to his actual office of Congress. And so talked to his staff member, Kyle Lombardi, about the Farm Bill, Save Rural Schools, payment in lieu of taxes, and then cannabis banking. We then went to a tour and we went to the office. They were still moving in, so it was a lot of empty space in there, and we got to go on the balcony, I guess, where they, the speaker actually has an opportunity to just go on the balcony and hang out, and you see, the monument and everything, and that whole, what do they call it, the mall, that whole area. So that was really cool. It was a once-in-a-lifetime deal. And so, but yeah, talking with that gentleman was really helpful. He seemed to be really, even his staff member, he seemed to be he was really engaging. And so it was good because there was a couple of staff members that were engaging and knew, and even if they disagreed, they knew the realm of it. And it wasn't just like, okay, what else? Okay, what else? We're going, So that was a really good feeling. Friday, we went to the EPA meeting, and I realized because I'm on the committee for the Farm, Ranch, and Rural Communities Federal Advisory Committee for EPA, that was the reason why I got to go, because they wanted to see me in person, because I wasn't able to go in January. And we, of course, talked about our issues with, with our rural committees and the problems we're having. And I went over again, the situations with like the Army Corps, their relationship, the Superfund fight is another, Superfund site is another thing that I like to emphasize with them as well. And we had a really interesting discussion because a lot of them don't know where Lake County is. So I was busy telling them it's right above Napa Valley. We also, we have a lot of fires, explain that. And I says they knew where Napa Valley was because they drink wine. And I says, well, if you want to keep drinking their wine, you need to help us too because they take our grapes. And so that was my pitch. A lot of them knew and they were like, wow, okay, right above Napa Valley. Everyone knows where that is. So that was one of my deals. After that, we finished up and went to we did that tour, of course, and then we did go to the Eisenhower White House building as well, and we talked with some staffers they were basically the policymakers of some of these bills that we were dealing with, and the policy advisors, and so it was a really short discussion, but we really had to focus on the same things we're talking about, but then giving them our experiences. That was one of the things too, is they really liked hearing from the actual supervisors about about the problems in their area. But Stacy, Marianne, and Tracy did the fill-ins, and the other group, ACG, really helped with that as well. The NACO conference, that was basically Saturday, Sunday. It's still going on today, yesterday. Pete Buttigieg was talking to them, and then today I think Biden's talking to NACO. So yeah, I'd missed those, but it's okay. Had to get back here. But NACO conference, went to a breakfast for new, I don't know if you got to go to that when you went to. It's like a breakfast for people that have never really attended before, so I attended that. I thought I wrote it down here, but I guess I didn't. But yeah, I went to that. Went to, oh yeah, there it is, first time orientation. So we sat at a table with an ambassador, and it was like probably like 100 to 200 tables of new people, and you got to think all the supervisors in the whole nation are there. Not all of them, but a majority of them. It's interesting to see that some of them are called commissioners, some of them are called judges of their counties. So it's really cool. I was like, wait, you're a judge? They're like, no, that's what we're called. But the ambassador, you just shared experiences on some things that they worked on that helped. The one I sat with I was really glad because he's from Illinois and has had issues with overregulation in his county, and also had like a restoration project he suffered through. So I was like, I need to call you, I need to talk to you, I need some advice. And so, yeah, the rest of the NACO conference, basically, we attended different workshops and steering committees. I was at the Justice and Public Safety Policy Steering Committee. A lot was talked about with the medical jail situation. There was a lot of counties that were really upset with that. That and the medical services as well. So there was people that were like, look, how long is this going to take? Because our counties can't afford to take care of their medical and things like that. So there's just a lot of people saying that, and then we being me too, so that helped. Agriculture and Rural Affairs Policy Steering Committee. So I kind of went back and forth because that was it was all day from 9:30 to 4:30. So I just kind of went to all of them, and they talked about the flooding and fires, of course, in that one, and so shared our experiences. Then California Caucus is just basically meeting with everybody in California and then and whatnot there. So Sunday, the Rural Action Committee I attended, and then I also attended a veterans steering committee where we talked about where did I put it? It's actually the Veteran Services offices, and I met a contact there that has some more resources, because I said we're a county with a lot of veterans, and they're pretty effective, and they said, well, you have a lot going, but I have more. So I was like, give me your card, send me information, because I'd like to get that information to Saul and the rest of the group. And so, yeah, that was the last one I went to. I didn't go to the Super Bowl party thing because I wanted to get ready. I had to leave at 6 a.m., so I did that, came back, and here I am. So,
Niners weren't playing anyway.
Yeah, so that's, so, yeah, no, so this next week, Fish and Wildlife, I think that fits on mine. Let's see, we got Worth, something about John T. Klaus. I think I have a property visit on Thursday. President's Day, so nothing there. I have a RCRC Executive Committee meeting in Sacramento on Wednesday, my first one on that. I did a check-in with the EPA on the Thursday, the 23rd, and then legislative call-in session. That's, I think you attend that too, Bruno. And then CAO 27th, and the Board of Supervisors here on the 28th. All right.
Okay.
And I have a lot of information, so if you want more, I got it right here, and I got it, so.
All right, Supervisor Sabatier?
So since Supervisor Crandall brought up jail medical, I am working on something with CAO Parker on that, and hopefully we'll bring that to you sometime soon. Just wanted you to be aware that that's something that NACO has been kind of harping on and really wants to see change, so we'll see what we can do on our end to support that. I'm going to go back over my past week. Just want to give you an update real quick on the skate park. So I have met with Robert Geary and Dino Beltran and some more of the folks that are interested from the tribal perspective of what the project's going to look like and how it's going to be implemented. Then we have an online survey right now that anyone from the public can go ahead and go online. And I'll provide that to CAO Parker to see if we can put that on our Facebook page so that people can say what they want to see in the upgraded skate park. That way that'll provide some guidelines for the designers to do the design on February 21st, next Tuesday at 5 p.m. The American Ramps Company is it's also staffed by professional skaters or prior skaters in their previous lives, and they are going to be showing off their skills just to kind of make a connection with the skating and biking community, let them know that they're not just designers, they're also users of the parks. And then at 6 p.m. we'll be going into City Hall to look at some of the preliminary designs that they have. Then I, on Thursday, went to the Big Read at Woodland Community College. I want to thank our library and Georgina Guardado for our poet laureate for putting all that together. I got to read a poem out of the post-colonial love poems from Natalie Diaz, and had a really good time and a fun time doing that. For the Clean Water Management Council, I was there as an alternate. The City of Lakeport finished their review and of the area for stormwater drainage, and now there's opportunities for grant funding and being able to move forward with resolving some of the issues, and it looks like the majority of the issues are all along Martin Street the majority of the time. But taking care of that. Backing up real quick, also, we had our LTA APC meeting. As most people will notice, both lanes of the Highway 29 expansion are open, still under construction, though, as they finish off the curbs. But I believe May will be the ribbon cutting is what they're looking at to make sure we have the right weather. And so that's that. And then on Friday, we had approved a contract with Sunrise for a warming shelter. I made a promise to the COC, and I think I stated it to the board as well, that I would be doing visits there. I have a weekly scheduled visit to go out there and see how things are going, see if there's any support that we need to provide to make sure that we resolve problems before they become problems. I have to say, what I saw was a very nice, warm, friendly, calm environment in there. Smelled really good. Food was being cooked. There's all kinds of donations of food, of prepackaged food straight out of grocery stores that are being donated. And so at this moment in time, it was a soft opening. Today, there is, I believe, a wedding that may have already occurred at the warming center this morning. And I believe either today, this evening, or tomorrow is when they have their actual grand opening of the warming shelter. But so far, it looked good, felt good. They had their policies all put together, and seemed really organized when I went there, and I'll be going back every Friday just to check in and see how things are going. So thank you to the board and COC for putting that together. Tomorrow, pretty wide open other than meeting with Mike Thompson over at City Hall in the city of Clear Lake. On Thursday, starting off with Judge's Breakfast, have a COC Executive Committee meeting, and have to check in with Supervisor Green if he's able to make it to the IFT and EMCC meetings. If not, we can try and make something work. I'm also meeting with Adventist Health later on that day, and then attending the City Council over in Clear Lake. And on Friday, I will be on KPFC in the afternoon and at 2 p.m. and back at the warming shelter. And it looks like we have another full week of nothing since we have a Monday day off, holiday, so we don't have a meeting on Tuesday the 21st. Looks like I'm going to the Technology Governance Committee on Wednesday, First Five Commission. I'll be as the alternate, just checking in and listening to see what's going on. Lake County Fire Protection District, Canoctown Unified School District meeting, Hope Rising Board meeting on Thursday. I've been invited to Woodland Community College to speak during Black History Month. Randall Cole is heading that one up for this year. And Hope Rising meeting again on Friday the 24th and checking in at the warming shelter, and then coming back on the 27th to prepare for our meeting with our CAO. And actually looks, yeah, no, we changed the times, which is perfect because I also have a Hope Rising meeting as well, and then Board of Supervisors on the 28th. That's it for me.
Vice Chair Simon?
So, last week attended LTA and APC meeting. Supervisor Spate kind of gave the report on that already, so attended those meetings. Get back to my calendar here. Also had a class and comp meeting on Wednesday afternoon, and then on Friday had, Thursday had Middletown Area Town Hall. There was a presentation from CAL FIRE just out to the community, or Middletown Area Town Hall, on the fire hazard zone, really trying to get the information out there. A lot of questions there. Obviously, they will be looking for when we draft our letter from the county side to get out there. We'll get that done sooner than later so they have a little chance to look at it, to really talk through making sure that we're addressing the issues, not just saying, hey, we don't like it, hey, this needs to be looked at, let's look at the data, let's really see if we can get some letters out there. So obviously that was a big one, a pretty good meeting, I think, as far as getting the information out. They did ask if they wanted me to send, if I needed to be CC'd every letter is written. I told them no, because I'd probably get yelled at by IT. But we do need to. I said, if you just give me numbers, that would be great. But just continuing that conversation with our communities as we move forward in the implementation and our concerns with it. So we'll continue those conversations. A meeting on Friday, I didn't have a meeting on Friday with CAO, but I did have another meeting with CDD Director Turner on an issue down in my district, or a project that we're trying to bring forward. On Monday, had the meeting with Susan Parker, our CAO. Today, here at the board meeting, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. If we can end that up with the day. I do know that the Lower Lake Action Committee group is meeting tonight. Maria Turner will be presenting there. I was committed to it, but I think I'm going to go home instead of getting in trouble. So on this one, I'll let Russ Kramer know. I won't be there tonight. When I did commit, I was like, oh, it is the 14th. So anyway, I am going to be out of town for a couple of days. I'll be back on Friday. I have my meeting with CAO Parker. Nothing on the weekend. Obviously, we got the holiday. So we have moved our Risk Reduction Authority meeting. I'll talk about that. It is going to be on the 27th. Also have a meeting with CEO Parker on Friday. It looks like there's a planning session on the 21st. I think anybody else, maybe someone else is going with that. That's from Anna Santana. Anyone get that invitation? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, on the
Yeah, yeah.
21st, so I think I'm going to attend that one. Really like those when we get out there with the community and just get to sit through it. So been on through those mental health advisory board, other things, so I think that's just excellent. Also, I may be working with CAO Parker, just to let you guys know, I'm on the State Board of Fire Services. They have moved the meetings to Tuesdays for some reason. I'm going to go and, I'm not sure why, so I'm going to figure that out. But it's from 1:30 to 3:30 on the 28th. Depending what it is, I may have to invoke the new rules where I'm traveling. I get over there in Sacramento, be set up, have the meeting. I was thinking about leaving at 10:30 here and then just driving over, but I will keep you informed. I may not be here in person on the 28th due to that other board that I sit on. It is a state board. I'm glad we went over that today. So there's an opportunity. I know there's only so many, but this might fit the perfect situation for that. So I will. I'm going to be here one way or the other. I guess that's the message.
And your voice there is important.
Yeah, so going to do that, obviously. On the 25th, I did miss the Middletown Arts Center, the MAC Center, is having a visioning forum from 11 to 4. I plan on attending that, obviously, to set through. I really appreciate some of the, well, just the work's doing. Obviously, this board voted, we are an art-supportive county, obviously. I probably getting the term wrong there, but we can please support the arts. It's really been brought into the community. I think the Middletown Arts Center for South County does a great job of, some very powerful exhibits that they've been able to bring to town, and I will be honest, I'm being educated on the art stuff. I'm very clear about that. I can't draw nothing, but obviously I've seen some beautiful stuff, some great community involvement for everyone, and, just want to continue supporting them as they're moving through their processes into the next year. So I think that's it for now.
Supervisor Green?
Thank you. Starting last week, just catching up. So last Thursday, I was able to attend Mental Health Advisory Board. Enjoyed it quite a bit. Looking forward to future meetings. Also attended class in comp. For some reason, it's not on my calendar, but I do remember it. I was there, and we had a lovely chat there as well. This last Friday, I was able to have a sit-down with our cannabis program manager, Andrew Amelung, and I appreciate that time. A lot on their plate, so I want to be supportive of them. Tomorrow, I will be in Clear Lake for the meet and greet with Representative Thompson. Thursday, I do have the MCC and IFT on my calendar. I will be attending that. I think it'll be kind of an informal thing because we have some Brown Act things to talk about with the MCC, and IFT is kind of a hybrid thing. So we're probably going to have some organizational things to talk about there on top of everything already on their agenda. So because that conflicts with COC, it sounds like, Bruno, you'll be able to do that. 11:30-ish, I'll be at Mendocino College. They're dedicating their new illuminated sign, which is kind of cool. And then we'll be doing a little lunch mixer, and I'll get a little tour of the campus, and I'm looking forward to that. Friday, I'll be meeting with the city manager of Lakeport, Kevin Ingram. Do have some time available. I was hoping to do a little drive around the district with Director Turner, looking at some structural deficiencies in our creeks. She suggested if Chair Pyska had some time available, we might be able to tag team on that. I'll leave it up to whether our calendars mesh on that. I think that would be a really good idea to get some eyes on some of our structures on that. Week of the 21st, so I will be down for CSAC new supervisor training from the 22nd through the 24th. So I will not be able to attend First Five Commission on the 22nd. So Bruno, if you'd be able to pick that up, I'd appreciate that.
Yep.
I also had that invitation for the event at Big Valley, but because I'll be traveling that Tuesday, I won't be able to attend that. We just handled appointments today, so we're going to have our newly reconstituted Scotts Valley Advisory Council hopefully meeting on Monday the 27th. Because of the hybrid meeting formats, they had been meeting regularly at Lakeport City Hall. We may have to do that one more time while we figure out next steps post-COVID. But traditionally, they had met in person at the Scotts Valley Women's Clubhouse. So we'll be doing some outreach and trying to figure out where we go in the months past. But I think that's all I got to share right now. All right, thank you.
I missed something. Can I?
Yes,
One last thing.
go ahead.
And boy, if they're watching right now, Hidden Valley's going to yell at me. So the Greenview, the long-awaited Greenview project, they did some soft opening stuff last week. Was able to go look at it. What a beautiful facility. I think they're going to be open from the 16th on, open to the public as we move forward. So if you're looking for somewhere in the next weekend or something, beautiful building that they put together there for the community of Hidden Valley. So, you know, get down and check it out. That's what I would say. Exciting, especially for South County area. It brings into, you know, one of the newest large facilities, I think. I'm pretty sure I got all these numbers right. I think I was told that when it's opened up, you can do about 250 people. And then the, like, slides, both ends open up with the deck and everything. Somewhere around 300 to 400 people could be accommodated in the building, which is pretty cool. So, but really nice new facility there. Whether on one side of, whether you like the building or not, it is a great addition to Lake County and just a really good place that's going to be opened up. So I'm really happy for those folks in Hidden Valley and the South County, but you know, always nice to have a new place open up that really shows who we are as a community. I know other districts will have that stuff too, but yeah, I just want to say that, and I did miss it on my calendar, so.
It's been a long time coming. It's great.
Greenview.
So we are in the midst of CAL FIRE grant season. The grants are due, depending on which grant you're going after, next week, I think, and then in 3 weeks. So I've had a million meetings with our local partners on that the last couple of weeks, and this week is incredibly full. So if you want to wait on the creek tours in District 5 until I'm available, it wouldn't be until next week. Tomorrow, agenda review. I have a home hardening meeting. Oh, right, no, okay, whew, I don't have to do that. Thank goodness, because I don't have anything available this week. Now I have 8:30 a.m. tomorrow, so. There's a home hardening meeting that I'll probably do from Clear Lake so that I can meet with Congressman Thompson. I had to cancel the meeting with Bruce for,
Bruce Wilson, yeah.
yeah, you're not able to make it either?
No.
Okay, so we'll save him a trip then. And then in the afternoon, meeting with Supervisor Crandall with Fish and Wildlife. And in the evening is the CWA meeting. I'm hoping I can make that, but we'll have to see how that day goes. And Thursday morning is the RCRC CSAC follow-up meeting with PG&E. It's supposed to be scheduled 2 weeks ago. This is rescheduled. It's in Sacramento, but I won't be able to be in Sacramento, so I will call in for that. I have my first law library meeting at noon. My breakout session, my weekly breakout session for my NACO training. I will be at the Middletown Unified Board meeting, Unified School District Board meeting at 4, and then get home for the CAC meeting at 6:30. Friday, I'm having a follow-up meeting at 9 a.m. with Congressman Thompson's DC staff, which we had a meeting last week to ask for more funding for tree mortality. Then at 10 is the tree mortality task force meeting. And then I have my NACO Friday session, zone of benefit meeting at 2. I have a USF student coming up at 3. And because this week I've got tree mortality meetings, I just want to share the report. I shared it with you, Vice Chair Simon. If you want to look up the report, The USDA Forest Service does their annual flyover. I mentioned that earlier. And so the aerial detection shows 590,000 dead trees in 2022. That's up from 130,000 in 2021. And Matthew has helped look at that data a little bit to provide to Congressman Thompson, but it is significant. And we're not even one of the counties that's remotely impacted the hardest. So as we're looking for this money, this report could not have come out at a better time to give us more and more data. That's always what we've been putting together. And so this is the report that lists all the counties and all the species, conifers. And if you see this map, it's pretty mind-blowing to see. The whole Sierra is impacted, and the whole North Coast. Trinity County and Siskiyou County, I think, are among the most with trees per acre. So this is going to be, as devastating as it is, it's really helpful to us in what we've been trying to accomplish, or what I've been working on for over a year. So I did send that to you, and I hope it comes up at the fire board, because it has not been a topic at the quarterly meetings with the state task force, the Wildfire and Forest Health Task Force. Stacey Heaton and others have been trying to really poke that group and to be more proactive with tree mortality. And until this report came out last week, we weren't really hearing a lot. So this should hopefully change that trajectory. Hopefully. I don't know what else it's going to take. So Fridays, lots of meetings that I just mentioned. And then the 19th is the Kelseyville Artisans Market. If anyone needs to go shopping on a Sunday, that is open again. Next Tuesday, I have a meeting with some CSAC staff and CAO Parker. On the 22nd, I do have a gender review. And I think there was something else that was supposed to be on my calendar that day. And then the only thing I have for next week is finishing up my coursework. And then I have a mountain bike race that I'm going to be heading out to. So then back here. Oh, Risk Reduction Authority on the 27th after my meeting with CAO Parker, and then back on the 28th. Okay, we did our calendars. That was intense. So now we're going to be going into closed session. We have 4 items. We have 8.1 is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, Citizens for Environmental Protection and Responsible Planning et al. v. County of Lake et al. 8.2, Public Employee Evaluation, Social Services Director. 8.3, Public Employee Evaluation, Air Pollution Control Officer. 8.4, Public Employee Evaluation, Agricultural Commissioner. Hi, thanks for joining us today.
Should I wait out here?